Names dancing around my mind. Faces are dancing around my mind.
Hold my feet. See.
Close my eyes with your lips.
Open the window.
I'm going out.
I'm going out.
See through me. Open the window. I'm going out. Hello, Dr. Garfield?
Yes, hello.
My mother is a patient of yours, and I wanted some more information about her condition.
Why, is she bothering you?
Well, no, not exactly. She's very uncomfortable and in a lot of pain.
Plasma cell myeloma, PCM, is a bone marrow dysfunction associated with an overgrowth of plasma cells. These neoplastic cells synthesize abnormal amounts of monoclonal immunoglobulin. Plasmacytoma usually develops in an area of hemopoietically active bone marrow like jaw, skull, pelvis, sternum, scapula, clavicle, vertebrae.
She wasn't always sick. I remember her strong and vital. One of her great missions in life was to initiate her family to the wonders of the out of doors. One summer, she decided the entire family should go on a car camping trip up the coast. Single-handedly, she packed the Coleman stove, the Coleman lantern, the family-sized tent, the sleeping bags, the air mattresses, the pillows, the suitcases full of clothing for all occasions, including rain, and we piled into the car and took off. In Oregon, she insisted that we take a day trip up the Rogue River. At lunchtime, the boat docked. All of the happy families and couples in love picnicked on the shore. My mother disappeared into the foliage. My brothers and I picnicked in silence. The boat whistle blew. All of the passengers scurried aboard. My mother was nowhere in sight. Mother! Suddenly she burst from the bushes. Red sweet berries gathered in the folds of her clothing. Berry juice staining her chin and lips. She was radiant. She was more beautiful in that moment than I had ever seen her before.
Mother?
Mother.
She was very, very young, and swimming to survive, and swimming to survive. The glide, she said, it's the most important part. You kick, and then you glide. You kick, and then you glide. Keep breathing, it's the most important part. It's all in the rhythm, it's all in the rhythm, it's all in the rhythm of the heart. It's all in the rhythm, it's all. It's all in the rhythm of the breathing. It's the most important part. You kick, and then you glide. You kick, and then you glide. Keep breathing. It's the most important part. It's all in the rhythm. It's all in the rhythm. It's all in the rhythm of the heart. It's all in the rhythm, it's all in the rhythm, it's all in the rhythm of the breathing. It's all in the rhythm.
Our entire yard was overgrown with weeds. Our house sat on a 1/4 acre of land. Every time the weeds reached shoulder height, the neighbors complained and the fire marshal would pay us a visit. Hello?
Is your mother at home?
Just a minute. Mother! Mother!
I'm busy. I'm working on my thesis. I'm trying to follow a difficult train of thought. Tell him your mother isn't at home.
My mother isn't at home.
This yard is a dangerous fire hazard. You are required by law to keep the yard safe from the danger of fire. The entire neighborhood could be threatened. We are giving you a 30-day notice to clear the weeds. Thank you for your cooperation.
Thank you. We're criminals. Mother! Mother! Several days of the week, my mother would come home late after dark, loaded with bags and bags of groceries. She was obsessive about coupons. She clipped them out of newspapers and magazines and then drive around from one store to the next, from one town to the next, saving pennies on groceries. She would bring home crates of dog food, restaurant-sized jars of mustard, boxes and boxes of canned goods. There wasn't room on the shelves for all of this stuff, and after a while the cupboard doors fell off and had to get leaned against the kitchen walls. Periodically, I would go on campaigns to organize the cupboards. I'd put all of the Campbell soup on one shelf, the Franco-American spaghetti next to the kidney beans, and I'd separate the fruit from the vegetables, and my mother would walk in the door with bags and bags of more food.
Is your mother at home?
I'm busy. I'm working on my thesis. I'm trying to follow a difficult train of thought. Tell him that your mother isn't at home.
This yard is a dangerous fire hazard. You are required by law to keep the yard safe from the danger of fire. Thank you.
Thank you. We're criminals.
Mother! Mother! She loved shoes. She had shoes of every imaginable shape and color. The chartreuse suede, the pink patent leather, the red alligator, the brown lizard, the 2-for-1 sale, the extra pair for a penny. When she died, I had a garage sale. Most of the stuff still had price tags on it. She never got around to wearing it all.
Our yard was entirely covered with weeds. Our house sat on a 1/4 acre of land.
She would show up late after dark loaded with bags and bags of groceries. She was obsessive about coupons.
I'm interested in making a study of women who have achieved high-level technical, scientific, and administrative positions and compare that to women in more routine, less responsible positions. The theoretical premise is that there are significant differences in motivation, persistence, and creativity between these two. I'm busy. I'm working on my thesis. I'm trying to follow a difficult train of thought. Tell him your mother isn't at home. Now, if we
This
can
yard
isolate
is a
these
dangerous
factors in
fire
motivation
hazard.
and
You are
apply
required
this
by
knowledge
law
early
to
enough
keep
to
the
our
yard
system
safe
of
from the
education
danger
and
of
guidance
fire.
of girls and women, this
Thank you
information could be
for
extremely
criminals.
useful. We could revamp the entire educational system. I actually taught my children to challenge the value systems of the status quo, to pursue the questions that provoke them in a rigorous, scientific, and objective manner, to develop resourcefulness, independence, and a unique sense of personal identity. Shh! I'm busy. I'm working on my thesis. I'm trying to follow a difficult train of thought. Tell him your mother isn't at home. To question authority. Great role model for questioning authority, right? Having fights in the aisles at the Bolshoi Ballet with ushers, throwing salt shakers at my father. All right, let's take a look at my front yard. I had an entire 1/4 acre of thriving Native American plants. Had there been any Native Americans in my neighborhood, they would have befriended me, respected me, and instructed me about the thousands of medicinal and herbal properties for my front yard. I had a goddamn medicine chest out there. I was an ecologist before the word ecology was ever coined. And not only that, but I do not care about weeds!
Good afternoon. Are you ready to begin?
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
The formulation of the hypothesis is the core procedure of research, the place where art and science meets. What then, Mrs. Wise, is your hypothesis?
The theoretical premise is that there are significant differences in motivation, creativity, and persistence between women who have achieved high-level positions and women in more routine, less responsible positions. And what
Yes,
I'd like to do
Mrs.
is-
Wise, understanding that effective clinical and educational practice can only develop in the context of adequate theory concerning pathology, and that the theory is dependent upon the scientific research upon which it is based. Explain to us how you plan to conduct and verify your research.
Well, the general plan is to use techniques such as case study, interview, and psychological testing.
Mrs. Weiss, in section 3 of your proposal, you criticize the educational system. Now, if you were designing a curriculum geared to producing a high-level achieving female, what do you foresee would be the effect on the true biological function of that female?
The true biological function?
As a result
You have to understand the
pertaining to
But
females,
don't you
would
agree
you
that require
recommend
comprehensive analysis of the relationship between female biology and our major social institutions?
people at different times, different locations. What then is your correlation, Mrs. Weiss?
Well, the general plan is to use techniques such as case study, interview, and psychological testing in order to ascertain what the factors of motivation are, so that we can, if this information is applied early enough to our systems of... Well, what I'd like to do is make a study of women who have achieved high-level technical, scientific... This could have implications on a national
Mrs.
as well as a...
Wise, you're repeating yourself, Mrs. Wise. Aren't you at times impatient? And tend sometimes to jump to conclusions without sufficient
Thank
data?
you, Mrs. Wise. I'm sorry.
That blue suede coat to match the touch of absent lovers.
Is there something you need?
I want that black evening gown
Something
Cash
special?
credit.
to meet my father's desire.
In particular,
I want those red patent pumps to dance the dance I never danced.
Call me when you're ready.
that looks wonderful on you.
I want that bad negligee to melt my mother's regrets.
What is it you're looking for?
I want that fast car to drive me out of my mind. I want that alligator bag to hide my nightmares and howls. I want that dining room set to throw important dinner parties. I want that color TV to be the talk of the town. Build up a castle of paper thin dreams. Walk around the empty room searching for my keys. Hopes are on fire. Smoke is blinding me.
May I help
I'll be
you?
right over here if you need me.
Are you looking for
Can I
anything in
help you
particular?
find anything?
Build up a castle of paper thin dreams.
Do you have a receipt for that merchandise?
Dear sirs, I am herewith submitting an application for the reinstatement of my teaching credential, which was revoked in November of 1959 after I was arrested for petty theft. The facts of the arrest were as follows. I was on my way, ironically enough, to a meeting of the Mental Health Association of Santa Clara County, of which I was a member of the board of directors. There was a lot of traffic. I got a late start. And by the time I got to the meeting, it was too late to go to the meeting, so I went shopping. I went to a number of stores, window shopping. I tried on a few things. I purchased a few items, and I took a few items without purchasing them. Specifically, 1 pair of pantyhose, 1 playsuit, 2 blouses, and a purse, valued at a total of $30.50. Dear sirs, I would please like to inquire about the procedure for the reinstatement of my teaching credential, which was revoked after apprehension by the store detective at the Emporium department store after I stole a brown alligator bag. I don't know why I took it. I had been standing, staring at it for quite a while. It matched a pair of shoes that I had. The closing bell had rung. There were quite a few shopkeepers around, and there were not very many customers. I wasn't particularly inconspicuous. Dear sirs, I would like to inquire about the procedure for the reinstatement of my teaching credential. Without wanting to let myself off easy, I would like to say that the emotional conditions of the time had something to do with my situation. I had been studying under great pressure for my orals at Stanford University, which I had still failed to pass. My father, for whom, as an only child, I was particularly close, had been suffering from heart disease for several months and had just passed away. The domestic tensions were in such turmoil that they led to a divorce and my husband's remarriage, and my husband's remarriage, and my husband's remarriage 3 months later, so I was seeing a psychiatrist who at the time was making me feel more crazy and confused than ever, dear sirs. I would like to inquire about the procedure for the reinstatement of my teaching credential. I don't know why I did it, but to get into one of those stores and all those pretty lights and bubbles look a whole lot more real than the world outside, dear sirs. I don't know why I did it, but to get into one of those stores and those pretty lights, dear sirs, I would like to inquire about the procedure for the reinstatement of my teaching credential. I believe that the emotions at the time had something to do with my situation. I had still been failing to pass. I had still been fit, dear sirs. My husband and I were having a the domestic crisis was such turmoil that I was making me feel a little more crazy. It's making me a little more crazy. I was feeling a little more crazy, dear sirs. Give it back, dear sirs. Dear sirs. Sincerely yours.
When I was 12, I got a room of my own. I did my room in French Provincial, like Nancy Lockwood's. The bureau, the headboard, and the dressing table with a mirror that folded out. I would sit in front of the dressing table mirror and set my hair in rollers as my brothers watched TV in the adjoining room. Paladin. As I sat in front of the dressing table mirror, painstakingly parting the strips of my hair into even sections, I would listen to the TV, imagining what the characters looked like. I was always disappointed. They never looked like I pictured them. Bouffant flips were the rage. My dew would only last till morning, and then the curls would wilt. Nancy and I spent every lunch hour teasing each other's hair. I shared a bathroom with my mother. Mother would spend hours in the tub. In the afternoon, she'd disappear into the bathroom and didn't emerge until evening. She was large-breasted and overweight. She never looked right. She would secretly shave the hairs that grew on her chin with a Lady Remington. She put on her makeup haphazardly, swabs of color that would sink into the middle-aged folds of skin. Mother used to hang her brassieres on the hooks of the bathroom door, and girdles, soiled gray, hanging from hooks like a fetid jungle swamp. Toilet paper never in the holders. Towels of all colors jammed onto the racks, lying on the floor. Nancy's bathroom was pristine clean. Hand towels color coordinated, folded into thirds so the edges wouldn't show. Sculpted soap like roses sitting in porcelain containers. Laundry in covered bins. Sweet-smelling aerosol sprays disguising the secretions of the human condition. Mother would disappear into the jungle bathroom and didn't emerge until evening. She lay in state in the tub. I never went in. I never saw her naked.
Faces are dancing around my mind, dancing around my mind. Close my eyes with your lips. Close my eyes with your hold lips. Hold my feet. See through me. Open the window. Open the window. I'm going out. I'm going out.
In the moment of my dying, I will remember the shape of the new moon at dawn. In the moment of my dying, I will remember the face in the fire. In the moment of my dying, there is no time. Of the sea, and the light in your eyes, and the love that's lifted me.
I came home from school one day in the early afternoon, and I found my mother in the living room. She was an avid fan of Martha Graham and the Bolshoi Ballet, and she was always taking me to dance concerts. She was playing an Aaron Copland album on the rarely used record player, and she was dancing around wildly. I was shocked. I was embarrassed. My mother? No one else's mother was dancing around in this upright suburb with its intact families and neat green lawns. My mother? She stopped as soon as she realized I was watching her, and I never saw her do it again. But now I do it, as often as possible. I turn the music up loud, I lock all of the doors, and I dance around wildly.